Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of In Bed with Brooke. So before I start reading and set my trusty little timer for the time that will go tonight, I just want to address a few things. I've had some feedback on the past 2 videos, which has been really great. One of the things that I've heard is that I talk too fast, and I'm not surprised to hear that because growing up, anytime I was in a musical or a play or doing any kind of film or dinner theater, that was the first directive I ever got from a director was saying, stop talking so fast. So if I talk too fast, I'm sorry, just leave it in the comments below and I will try to slow down in the future videos. But I'm trying to go at an even pace. But if it's too quick, I need to know so people can understand what I'm saying. Second feedback I've gotten from quite a few people is asking me if I'm going to do character voices. My answer to that is probably not, simply because this is more of a story time than it is an audiobook. So I'm just reading the story as opposed to acting it out and getting into character. It may evolve there, but right now it's really just going to be me reading Set It Free to you. So that being said, let's get started. We will pick up where we left off in episode 2. Setting my little timer. If this wasn't her home, Slater might have walked away from her or told her to fuck off. Pretty or not, he hated being called out. Well, I'm not most people was all he could think of to say. For some reason, that had her amused, had her grinning at him. I don't buy it. I bet underneath it all, you're one of the nicest people in the world. He wanted to be pissed off by her comment, but her smile transfixed him and had him replying quietly, very few find out. God bless the few, Alex said softly. She couldn't tell if he was staring at her or glaring at her. She was completely lost in his eyes, unable to pull her gaze away. Matt looked between them, not liking the energy. It wasn't uncomfortable friction. These two were attracted to each other. He decided for a different dynamic and hoped to get their attention off one another. Hey, Alex, he broke the tension, snapping his fingers in front of her eyes. How about some beers? Excuse me? Alex broke eye contact with Slater, furrowing her brows in irritation with Matt. He was the one begging for a place to stay tonight. She had done the proper thing and picked up the beer for him and his friends. And now here he was, not only wanting to be waited on, but snapping his fingers at her. Her gaze was icy as she told him, get your own damn beer, Matt. That made Slater smile. The way Matt had been talking earlier, he and this Alex girl had a thing going. And by the way she was acting with Matt, it sure as hell didn't seem like there was something happening. Matt got up and stomped to the kitchen, coming back with 3 beers. He handed one to Hayes, reluctantly gave one to Slater, and plopped onto the couch, popping his open, challenging Alex with a look. Alex smiled sweetly at him, her voice dripped with sarcasm. Oh no, that's okay, Matt. I can get my own. Slater leaned forward, taking a sip of his beer, his eyes on hers. Here, he handed her the bottle. You can share mine. Alex accepted the bottle with a smile as she took a drink. Thanks. She handed it back, keeping eye contact with Slater as he sat back and took another sip. Damn, she thought, he's really cute. It was clear to Slater that Matt didn't like this flirting at all. Slater knew he was pissing Matt off, but he didn't care. He was along for the ride, needing a roof over his head tonight. He had felt Matt's dislike for him immediately, and the feeling was mutual. Attraction or not, he would have kept this sport of flirtation up simply just to keep niggling at Matt. But he didn't want to stop talking to Alex. So Matt tells me you had a famous grandmother. He passed the beer bottle back to her, giving all his attention to Alex, completely ignoring Hayes and Matt. The mention of Grams made her smile. Yeah, she was a musician and very well known in Hollywood. She wrote Broadway songs and movie scores. This was her condo. It's a cool place. He looked around the spacious living room, decorated in neutral colors and trying not to drool over the baby grand piano. His gaze settled on a set of shelves built into the corner wall behind the piano. Fuck me. Is that an Academy Award? He set his beer on the table, jumped up and rushed to the corner. Alex stood up, hurried right behind him. Don't, she cried, grabbing his arm as he reached the shelves. Chill out, I'm not doing anything, I'm just looking. He pulled his arm out of her grasp, laughing softly. A little overprotective, aren't we? She lowered her eyes, embarrassed and sorry. I don't like it when people grab it. She gestured toward the award. I even feel guilty when I pick it up. Alex looked at the Oscar dreamily, the highest honor in the industry. Slater looked at the shelves, seeing tons of pictures of her grandmother, he assumed, with so many celebrities he recognized. Elizabeth Taylor, Burt Reynolds, Clint Eastwood. He couldn't believe how many famous people were featured here. One in particular caught his eye. "Holy shit, is that Elton John?" Slater asked incredulously, pointing at a snapshot. Alex smiled and picked up the framed photo of her grandmother and Elton John sitting at a piano laughing together. "Yeah, that's him. They worked together on a few movie scores. She loved him." Feeling bad that she almost attacked him for even breathing near the Oscar, she handed him the photo. "Did you ever meet him?" he wondered, carefully holding the frame. "No, I never met him, but I did meet this guy." She leaned forward to grab a photo as Slater bent down to replace the picture and caused their heads to bump. "Shit, sorry," he smiled at her, catching a whiff of her scent. "Wow," he thought, "she smells good. Really, really good." Alex rubbed her forehead gently and grinned with him. "It's okay. Here, that's me when I was 12 years old." Slater held the photo, looking at a famous leading actor known for his womanizing ways and smiling with his arm around a young Alexandra. She was short, skinny, and awkward at best. He thought she was adorable. "What's he like?" She took the photo and smiled, remembering, "He was sweet as can be when I was 12. Kind of like a fun uncle with presents for me and always with candy in his pocket." Yeah, cut to 4 years later, as I had developed at the age of 16, and he was a dirty old man with something else in his pocket for me, she said with a shudder. "You know, he actually told my grandmother that he would be happy to educate me in the ways of love." She used her fingers as quotation marks. "When I turned 18, she never let him around me again, and thank God for that." "You pervert," Slater muttered. Another photo caught his eye. "Oh my God," he breathed, "that's Marilyn Monroe." He held out his hand to touch the picture, pulling back, unsure if she would let him. Alex picked it up and traced her grandmother's face with her fingers, saying softly, "Yeah, that's Marilyn Monroe. From what I heard, they shared a raunchy sense of humor." Sensing his want to touch it, she handed it to him. He too traced his fingers over the picture, but not over her grandmother, over Marilyn Monroe. "You've got some true Hollywood royalty here." "Yeah, hopefully one day I'll be considered that," she sighed wistfully. She knew so many people and they all loved her so much, but if you knew my grandmother, you couldn't help but love her. She tucked her hair behind her ear as she let her eyes roam over the photographs and smiled softly. Sensing him looking at her, she turned her head to him and made eye contact. His green eyes were unsettling as he locked his gaze with hers. "Why are you staring at me?" she asked softly. Slater believed in honesty no matter the cost. "You're really pretty," he answered, brushing that lock of hair off of her forehead and causing her to feel little sparks of electricity. Caught off guard, Alex took a small step back, her voice just above a whisper. "Thank you." Matt rolled his eyes at Hayes and jerked his thumb over his shoulder at the interaction between Alex and Slater. "What the fuck does he think he's doing hitting on her?" "Well, she's hot." Hayes shrugged indifferently, patting his vest and pant pockets, asking absently, "You see my joint, man?" "That doesn't matter." Matt lowered his voice and ran a hand through his dark hair to act cool as he informed Hayes. "We have kind of a thing going on." He leaned closer to Hayes so only he could hear. "I'm sharing her room with her tonight." So we'll stop there for now. So what are your thoughts? Have you read it this far? Do you think Matt shares his room with Alex tonight? Stay tuned for the next episode and you'll find out. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, guys.